So today I want to show you how you can 2D needle felt a really quick and simple wall painting, which won't take you very long and is ideal for a beginner to needle felting. So let's get started. So my first step is to get some guidelines onto my white piece of felt that I'm using as my canvas. I've put a link to this free template and the photo I'm using as inspiration in the description below so that you can needle felt this exact same picture. This template can be transferred onto some felt using a foam base and a fine or 40 gauge triangular felting needle. So just stab through to indicate some of the key sections such as the corners, the horizon, the moon, and where the reflection starts and ends. The finished picture will be just under 3 inches or 7 centimetres square. The next step is to choose the colours that you're going to need for the base layer of the wool. So first we need to find some blue tops wool for the sky. If you've watched my 10 tips on needle felting a 2D landscape video, you'll have seen me use a small hole in a piece of paper to single out a colour on the photo and compare it to the wool. This will help you see the colour that you need on the inspirational picture. It can be tempting to use just one tone of wool to block fill an area, such as the sky or the sea, but there's always slight variations in the colour, even in a night scene like this one, and a solid colour will look flat and boring.
Oh no, we can't have flat and boring.
So to get that slight variation in colour in your picture, I recommend mixing 2 blues together for the sky and the sea. Start by laying out 2 equal amounts of a light blue and a dark blue, and then mix them together by pulling the strands apart and laying them back over the top. Keep repeating this for a while. Don't worry about mixing them fully. If you can still see streaks of a darker or lighter colour, this will help your sky and sea look more realistic once it's felted down. You can also use 2 dog brushes to mix wool. So now I've created 3 new colours by mixing the same 2 blues together in different proportions. So for a darker blue I mixed only a tiny bit of the light blue with some darker blue wool, and for the lighter blue colour I mixed a tiny bit of the darkest blue with the light blue wool. So in this video I'll refer to these colours as a solid light blue at the top, which I haven't mixed with anything, then light mix, half and half, dark mix, and then the solid unmixed dark blue. Now we're ready to start felting down wool for the background of the image. For the sky I've used the light mix and just laid the tops wool across the area, making sure I overlap the edges and go down to the horizon. I stabbed this down and then using the unmixed dark blue wool I added a dark blue thin line of felt to make the horizon stand out slightly. Then using the half and half mid blue colour that I mixed, I've laid that all over the sea area, making sure the sea colour is slightly darker than the sky so that there's a bit of contrast. Also make sure you go over the sides and go all the way down to the bottom. Again, don't worry if you have streaks of darker and lighter areas. This will make the sea look more realistic. If you're finding this video useful, please don't forget to click the like button. That way you'll help other felters find it too. Next, we're going to create some waves on the sea. To do this, I took a very small amount of the solid darkest blue colour and pull the strands apart so that you have a small, short, thin line of dark blue. Then I attach several of these randomly to the right and to the left of where the reflection will be, trying to make the lines at the top nearer to the horizon thinner than those nearer the foreground, which can be much thicker. Can you see how this is making it look like there's more ripples in the water? Now for the fun bit, the reflection. And this is where I think using wool makes this much easier than if you were trying to paint this scene with acrylics or watercolours. First of all, you might need to remark the width of the reflection using the template so that you have guidelines. It may be tempting to reach for your white wool for this, but stop. If you look at the reflection closely, you can see that it's mostly pink. So I'm using a very light shade of pink and a little bit of cream or off-white wool for the reflection. Also notice how I'm breaking the strands of wool into very short lengths and adding a very small and thin clump of wool at a time. Don't worry about it being uneven. You want some of the blue to show through and leave the ends jagged on the left and the right sides, as this is how the reflection is in the photo. If you look at the photo, you can see there's a section that is a more solid lighter colour. So I rolled a piece of the lighter cream wool between my fingers to make it more dense and added that in the middle of the reflection. Then added some more of the lighter cream wool below so that it's less dense and thinner, in the same way I did with the light pink wool. Continuing with the light pink wool, I work my way down the reflection, gradually making it wider, and as I get nearer to the bottom of the picture I'm leaving a few larger gaps between the sections of the pink wool to make the waves look bigger as they get nearer. mirror, giving the picture some depth. Next, to make the reflection look even more effective, I've rolled up tiny bits of light pink wool and stabbed them around the edge of the reflection on the left and right hand sides. It was then time to make the moon. So I remarked with my template where it should go. Then I took a small piece of off-white or light cream wool and rolled it up between my hands to form a ball. Then, starting at the edges, gently stabbed it into place, making sure the edges were nice and round first. If you have an edge that's sticking out a bit, angle your needle towards the centre and this will bring it in slightly. It can only take one stab sometimes just to make the edge of the circle look neater. Then you can stab down the middle part. If you think the edge of your reflection is a bit too straight, you can make it more jagged by angling your needle away from the centre. This will move some of the fibres out into the blue area, making a slightly more fuzzy edge. Or angle your needle the opposite way if you want to make the reflection narrower. All that you need to do now is to cut it down to fit into your frame, and you've finished your first simple little 2D felted picture. But now that you've painted a simple little picture with wool, maybe you'd like to learn even more techniques by watching this video on how I felted this sunset from a photo. Thanks for watching.